This open-ended maths investigation is designed to be used with Key Stage 2 and 3 students, allowing them to explore number patterns whilst developing their communication and thinking skills through a careful blend of digital activities, group work and discussion. You'll see that the unit follows the same format recommended by the Skills Framework, splitting the lesson into planning, development and reflection activities. The unit is a natural progression of the well-known Frogs maths investigation, which can also be found on NGfL Cymru under the Investigation tab. You can find the resource by clicking on Key Stage 2 or 3, then on Maths, then on Investigations, and then you'll need to scroll down and find Penguin Sliders. Once you get to the landing page, click Open this resource, and you'll see that you can either open the online version or a zipped version, and there's lots of paper-based resources there also. Before the lesson starts, you could have the introduction already running on the screen to provide that initial stimulus. The class's first task is to get the penguin to safety by floating him on his ice platform. To model the problem, you'll need something to represent the penguin. We used a penguin teddy, but the students could use whatever they can find in the classroom. You'll also need 7 chairs and 7 students placed in a square to mirror the ice flow on the screen. The students sitting on the chairs will need to slide their seats to model the ice flow problem. The rest of the students in the class could suggest the moves to make. They need to follow the rules that the seats can only be moved horizontally and vertically and not diagonally. Once they've modelled the problem and found a solution, they should be encouraged to consider how they can ensure that they have found the least number of moves and given time to discuss this. This group of teachers took 17 slides to actually get the penguin to safety. This isn't the least number of moves, so they would have had to go back and consider their ideas again. Next, the students could be introduced to the main question to be investigated, ensuring that they have ample opportunity to read and analyse the question with their thinking partner. You could highlight the key words such as least number of moves and any number of ice platforms. Students could then work on the investigation plan with their thinking partner or in groups before sharing with the rest of the class. If you want to set strict time limits for each section of the activity, you could use the digital timer that can be found in the eChalk resource section on NGfL Cymru. Once the students have had time to complete their plan and share with the rest of the class, you could then develop their problem-solving skills still further by telling them that they need to model the problem and record their results, but that there isn't enough room in the class to use the chairs and that they can't use the computers. They then have to come up with suggestions for what they could use to represent the penguins and the ice flow. Our teachers used stones and coins, but counters or anything else in the classroom that's small enough to fit on grids is good enough to use. There are printable baseboards with the resource pack that the students can use. There are also record sheets, but for most students it would be best to encourage them to find their own way of recording the data. Once the students have had time to model the problems for every ice flow and record their results, then the reflection screen on the interactive resource can be used for the pairs to share their solutions with the rest of the class. You can use the pen tool to write the results directly onto the screen. Then you can reveal the correct answers. If any of the answers that you've written down are incorrect, then you can use the rubber to change those answers. The students should be allowed time to look for a pattern in their results. The simplest pattern to spot is that each result is 8 more than the last. For many students, this may be as far as they can go, while others can take it as far as the generalisation. Once a pattern has been spotted, the students can then be encouraged to use the pattern to predict the least number of moves for an ice flow measuring 8 by 8. Once they've found the solution, it can be checked using the interactive resource.